Who's this for?
Gareth.
I am going to go for battered sausage, chips, and a buttered bap.
Okay.
Because it's not a chip shop trip for me unless I'm having a chip butty of some sort.
Gary.
It's changed obviously over the years. I think at the moment, it would be salt and pepper tofu, pot of curry, and portion chips.
Andy.
Special curry with fried rice.
Similar. Mine's chicken fried rice with curry. So there you go.
Nice. Gareth,
Oh,
put you on the spot.
oh, you caught me well off guard with that. I would say Aliens. I once watched that film at least once a day for over a year. So I would have to say that's in the conversation. Probably between that and RoboCop. There are obviously much better films in terms of works of art, but nothing's quite as fun as those two, I don't think.
Okay, cool. Carl?
Oh, Wayne's World. I always, if I start watching that film, I'll have to finish it.
Yeah.
That or Caddyshack. Or a Police Academy film.
Gary?
Honestly, this would change like weekly. I think.
Yeah. Whatever comes to mind.
I think the first thing that came to mind was Back to the Future.
Yes.
Yeah, especially like the first two. Third is good as well, but the first two I love.
I don't like the third one. It was on the telly the other day.
I still think it's pretty good. It just isn't. It's just not as. I don't know. It just doesn't grab you as much because it's kind of set in one place and it has much kind of fun to it, I suppose.
That was filmed at exactly the same time that they did the second one.
Yeah, I remember going to see the second one, and the trailer for the third one is at the end of the second.
That's right. Yeah, we did them both at the same time.
Yeah. I could sit and watch all three of them easily. I think they're really easy to watch films at any time, aren't they?
Yeah.
As well as the Raiders of the Lost Ark films as well.
Oh yeah.
My all-time favourite film is the original The Wicker Man.
Oh, great choice.
And we still need to go and see it, Gareth, at some point if it's on at the cinema again.
Yes, yeah.
I can watch that over and over again and never ever get bored of it. I just love it. I think it's an amazing film.
I've had friends who've been obsessed with that over the years, and like I've got like Steve Carr has been to where they've filmed a lot of Summer Isles stuff.
Yeah.
And,
I went on a trip to see some of that as well.
Yeah, and I had a friend who made his own cut of it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's amazing.
Need to be introduced to these friends.
Mine's Turned Out a Punk, the Damien Abraham, but Gary might steal that one. So
no,
if he
you got
doesn't,
there first.
Also started listening to the Toby Morse H2O podcast called One Life, One Chance, which is quite similar to Turned Out a Punk. Turned Out a Punk's a podcast done by Damien Abraham from Fucked Up, the singer Fucked Up, where he interviews like predominantly at the minute wrestlers, but a lot of people in bands and stuff, and basically ask them similar sorts of questions to what we've been asking each other tonight, about how they got into music and what type of music they got into and how it's changed their life. So yeah, Turned Out a Punk by Damien Abraham is a very good podcast. I highly recommend anyone to listen to it.
Nice. Go on, Gareth, you can go next.
Okay, well, I do a podcast, but I'm not going to be as low as to stoop to that. Listen to Retrospecticus. And my mates as well do there's a couple of good comedy podcasts. Don't Let's Chart is a very good one that a couple of my mates do. And there's also Looks Unfamiliar, which my other mate Tim does. But not that I'm saying don't listen to them. I'm obviously biased when I talk about those. So I'm going to mention Oh, Talking Simpsons. Yeah. So there's I listen to a lot of Simpsons podcasts because I watch a lot of Simpsons, and Talking Simpsons is the most kind of factually interesting one, I guess. Although the episodes now have started being about 2 hours long, which makes it really difficult to fit into one listen or one little walk or something like that. I do prefer it when things come in around 30, 40 minutes in terms of episodes. But yeah, if you got the time, give it a listen.
Good choice. Andy?
I don't listen to any podcasts, so I'm going to have to say it. Let it go mint. Honestly, hand on heart, that's the only one I listen to. I probably should listen to more, I don't know, but I only listened to that eventually because I was way behind everyone else, and eventually I started listening to it when I go on my walks and stuff. So
I'll let you off.
Yeah.
Andy,
if you can sort of point me towards some interesting ones, then I may sort of eventually, sort of listen to them.
Andy, explain Athletico Mints. What's the premise of Athletico
Mints? 8% football. And lots of nonsense passes. It's really good. Really good.
Okay.
I'll let you off with that one then. My choice would be the Adam Buxton podcast. And I was never a big Adam and Joe fan. I saw bits of it, but I kind of found it didn't really kind of match my sense of humour at the time. So I didn't really watch much of it. I kind of appreciate it a bit more, like in hindsight. But his podcast, I think, because as he's kind of grown older, he's a bit more open to kind of being sentimental at times, or being quite open about how he's feeling. So the way he uses that in his approach to interviewing, depending on the people who he's got, it can have a completely different feel to it. So, like, if he's interviewing a mate, it's very kind of chatty and funny and silly. If he's interviewing someone who's kind of academic, he completely changes his focus and makes it a lot more about that focus, and gets kind of interesting interviews. Like, so, he's kind of interviewed someone fairly recently who is like a doctor talking about coronavirus. He's talked about mental health issues, about bereavement, because he lost his dad. So he spoke about with people who'd lost their parents, and how they kind of dealt with things, and how that changed their outlook on life. And then say you can kind of interview kind of musical people and talk about that. And again, but depending on how his relationship with them, it completely changes the way he kind of approaches the interview, which is kind of keeps you interested as well. So that'd be my choice for you.
An interview.
I really enjoyed the Billy Connolly one he did. Listen to that. That was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Now I want both brand and flavour for that. I'll start with Gary.
I like the Sunbites.
Oh yeah.
They're a particular favourite. And again, vegan, so it's something I can have.
Carl?
Completely opposite of Gary's. Steak McCoy's.
I thought you might say that. That's your usual breakfast of champions, isn't it?
Yeah, breakfast of champions. If you have a pack of Steak McCoy's, you can never go wrong. You set yourself up for the day. You might have a heart attack when you're 40, but you can't go wrong with Steak McCoy's. They're a meal in themselves. A bit of stodge, bit of steak. Can't beat it. Steak McCoy.
Andy?
My favourite crisp, and I don't get them that often because not that many places sell them, and Gary Bagley is the influence for me trying these crisps and absolutely loving them. I don't know who makes them, but they're called slabs. Can you
I've heard of slabs.
I can't even remember.
They're like big, huge crisps.
Yeah.
And not many places. I know Deli Fonseca sell them.
Yeah.
And a couple of other fancy places sell them, but they're just absolutely amazing. Big, thick, flavoursome crisps. Oh.
Excellent. I've never tried those. I'll have to give those a go. For me, it is of ones available at the minute. It is roast beef Monster Munch. But of the sadly departed flavours, sizzling bacon Monster Munch, which was around in the mid 80s to early 90s, I think. But it was, they were great. And then they just stopped being anywhere and they've never come back. I'm very annoyed. I talk about it quite a lot.
What do you think about keeping crisps in the fridge?
Well, no.
It's not necessary.
Apparently, it's good. It's quite refreshing.
I don't come to a bag of crisps to be refreshed.
Like a vending machine. Are they cold? Like sometimes they're a bit colder, aren't they?
It can be chilled, yeah.
You've got a point, yeah. Especially if it's one that does drinks as well. Chocolate will be.
I couldn't have a cold State McCoy. You know what I mean? That'd just be wrong. But it's just a thought, you know.
They've got to be body temperature, surely.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they've got to taste like they've got to be the temperature of like they've been in like the back pocket of like a worky.
Yeah, don't want a cold breakfast.
Yeah, you don't want to cold breakfast on the continent or something.